Psycho killer, kiss que say, run, 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 run away. Flight risk, yeah, yeah, yeah. Flight Risk with Mark Wahlberg. I actually did not know until I saw the credits. This is a Mel Gibson directed film. I was very surprised by that. I was also surprised because it's not a fantastic film. But as I said in my out of the theater review, like my brief 3-minute review, fix my hair a little bit. It's there we go. It's about what I expected. It's a little worse than I expected. I think that's a good way to put it. It's a little worse than I expected, but I will say I had a good time with the film. And honestly, there was like an audience of only 6, 7 of us, and we all were actually having a good time. There were lines where we were actually all legitimately having a laugh. But I mean, the movie is literally explained to you in the complete the only real trailer that we got. Topher Grace is an informant, not an informant. He's a witness in protection to protest against a crime boss. This U.S. Marshal gets him, played by Michelle Dockery, who I swear to God looks like a 20 to 30-year-old Julianne Moore. I swear to God, it's kind of creepy. It shots up, but she looks like young Julianne Moore. And then the pilot, he's taken in there, and we learn that it's a hitman sent to get him. And where the movie works is the tension that we have with Mark Wahlberg. Now, I will say the ball is dropped pretty hard on that because we already know from the trailer that he is a psycho killer. He's a killer, and he's there to kill him. So any tension or okay, what's going on here is all just cut out, has legs cut out from under it from the beginning. So it does lose a little bit there, but otherwise, that first act, let's call it the first act. That first scene up until, he turns on them and reveals he's a killer. I keep saying psycho killer, but yeah, no, this guy is a psychopath completely. Plays it up as a effed up individual, like a guy who takes pleasure in hurting and mutilating and doing nasty, nasty things. There's a lot of rape dialogue in this, oh, I'm gonna do terrible things to you, no, we meet him, and honestly, he'd be a pretty decent, entertaining guy if he wasn't a killer. So they make us kind of like him enough to be okay, we know he's a killer, but he's got a fun enough personality. And then when he goes completely psychotic, he's a lot of fun. He is chewing the scenery, 100%. But he is a lot, Mark Wahlberg might be there for a paycheck, but he is not phoning it in. He's having a lot of fun. So yeah, absolutely, that's there. And I also say, the whole idea is fun too. You're trapped on this very small plane. You don't know how to fly it, but the killer does, and he ain't gonna help you. So what are you going to do? Yeah, it's just it's a good idea. And I'll admit, there's definitely some tension on board. Pun included. Pun intended. There's some tension on board, absolutely. There are some great shots of Alaska, even if it is stock footage. It's good shots of Alaska. Where I will say that we get into some weaknesses though of the film. And by the way, and it's a tight hour and a half, I believe. How long was this movie? It's a tight hour and a half. They even say, oh, well, we'll be there in an hour. And I'm pretty sure they are talking about the fact that how long the movie has left to go is what every time they mention time. I think that's legitimately how long the movie has to go. Which I kind of respect movies that can do that, be slightly meta about it, but it makes sense for the movie. So there's that. But where the movie does struggle a bit is the other two characters. Topher Grace is fine. I was struggling last night with the word in the review. I give him all the credit in the world. And most of the time I see Eric Foreman, because he plays that Eric Foreman for 7 seasons plus an episode on That 70s Show. So I definitely see that in him. Even though he's gotten older, I think he's in his late 30s, early 40s now, right? How old is Topher Grace? That is a good question. Topher Grace is 46. Wow, he's in his mid-40s. He certainly looks like he's gotten older, but it's not by much. He's still, I want to say he looks baby-faced. You know what? Yeah, he's a baby-faced 46-year-old. Like, he looks maybe like he could still play, like, mid to late 30s if he had to. But that's the thing, is that he's a very chatty character. I am just seeing Eric Foreman a lot while he's talking. But there are good scenes with him, like when he realizes he's the killer, he just starts freaking the fuck out. I was like, oh shit. I was like, no, that makes complete sense. Yeah, no, any guy who's trapped and chained to a chair in a plane and can't get out would be freaking the F out. But then at one point he has to get a lot more serious. And I bought it. I bought it enough, at least. So I would say that he's probably fine. He's doing what he can. There is a fun fucking line at the end, though, where, without giving too much away, then he just says, "Fuck this day," but the context of it is actually really funny. I'm not gonna say what it is, but just the line. If you do see the movie, when you get to the line, "Fuck this day," it is really funny. But honestly, the biggest weak link of the three main characters, and there's a few side characters. There's a flight instructor, a guy who is helping her fly the plane, called Hassan, who we do eventually see at the end. We are only getting voices of other characters, but he's there too. But they're like the main three. They are our main three. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. And she's not god awful, but she comes off very wooden. There are a couple scenes where she's not as wooden, but for some reason, I don't know. Maybe it's the directing. But this is actually where I got the Julianne Moore vibes a little bit. Not just in her appearance, but kind of in her acting. She felt a little Julianne Moore. And I love Julianne Moore, but Julianne Moore can come off a little wooden sometimes. She can. Especially when she's not giving a shit. And there have been movies where she doesn't always give a shit. But yeah, like you know what it felt like? It felt like Julianne Moore as Clarice Starling, but if you were to take her and put her in Silence of the Lamb instead of Hannibal, if that makes any sense. Like, take the Julianne Moore from then and just kind of wooden her up a bit. And that's kind of what I was getting here. It's not that she was like the worst person. I wasn't like cringing at the line delivery. And there's actually some good bits of acting with her, particularly when she finds out what's really going on. I will say this. They do kind of give you a little bit of a twist on a twist. Like, you can make the guess saying that, oh, there's corruption. But where it comes from, I'm like, oh, that's a twist and a twist. And then the repercussions of that twist, I'm like, oh, okay. And there she's like, okay, yeah, she's doing good. So yeah, I definitely think she could have done worse. I do think she's the weakest of the three, though, which is odd to say. Not that I think Topher Grace is a bad actor. I'm just saying it's probably the weakest of the three of them. Mark Wahlberg's probably having the most fun, that's for certain. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, the film also, it's only made on $25 million. You can feel it. There's a shot with a moose in the beginning, and yeah, it's not a good looking moose. I mean, it looks fine, but you can tell it's a fake moose. It's not a real moose. And then, by the way, immediately afterwards, it opens with him and Topher Grace in hiding, and then they find him and like cuff him. There was literally a moose outside the door not more than 5 seconds ago. That moose is still there. It's still out there. I'm sorry, I don't care if you're the U.S. Marshals or if you're the freaking like Manhunt or whoever you are. You do not walk up casually to a goddamn moose, because the guns you have are not putting that thing down. I don't care if you got a Glock. You're not putting a moose down with a handgun. You need, unless you literally can curve the bullet into its heart several times. You're not putting a moose down with a handgun. So, yeah. Like that moose should have killed them. That or the moose just doesn't give a shit because it knows it's a goddamn moose. Fun story. This is completely unrelated related to the movie, but related to mooses or mises or moose. I had an old chemistry teacher, science teacher in middle school. I still remember the story, and he would always tell us these fun stories. And he had a friend who went into Canada, and they were driving up the road. Well, they come to a stop because there's a moose in the middle of the road, and there's a car in front of that moose. And this moose does not give a shit. And the guy just honks the horn. This is a full-grown moose, a bull moose. And the moose just like walks over, boom, slams its antlers and head on the car, totals the engine, and just walks away. And we're like, you don't F with a moose. And I'm hung up on this because it kind of feels like they would throw a gag in there just for a gag when it's like, I probably shouldn't have done that. Or did you really need that extra? Because this movie's only literally like an hour and 31 minutes long. So did you need the moose for the extra minute to get to the hour and a half mark to be qualifying, I think, for a runtime? Actually, what is the shortest runtime you can have for a movie for a theatrical release? Anyway, so along with that, there are definitely some shoddier visual effects. Sometimes it's out of the side of the plane, like through the window. Sometimes it is the plane itself. I mentioned in the trailer or in the theater review last night. There's a shot, and you see it. They show it in the movie. He's got a cut on his neck, but then we move over, and the cut, I'm not joking, looked like it was CGI'd after that. Like, did you not have enough makeup? Did you want the cut to stand out? And then you see it on his arm too, and it looks just like boo red. Like, that's not what blood looks like. What the fuck? The other problem this movie also has too is that it really is just a repetition of the same events over and over again. They find out he's a killer, knock him out, tie him up. He gets loose, then he attacks, knock him out, tie him up. He gets loose, knock him out. They do this multiple times. There are segments in the movie where, yeah, he's there, but he's not doing anything. He's like knocked out. We're just focusing on these two. So it does not take the premise all the way that it could have. They had a lot more potential that it could have had as a movie, and it just kind of didn't really use it. So overall, did I hate this movie? God, no. I had a fun time with it. It's not that good. It's got 19% on Rotten Tomato. Whew. But we'll see what the opening weekend's like. Honestly, on a budget of only $25 million, this film probably doesn't even have to hit $75 million to break even. We'll see, though, what it ultimately does. But yeah, trailer. We got The Drop again, which it's an interesting premise to say the least. You're on a date, you get these texts. They tell you to kill your date. So, okay, what's he done? Why? Okay, great. Baby eyes, heart eyes killer. Maybe. Look, I love me a little Jersey Boys. Frankie Valli in the first season. You're just too good to be true. I love you, baby. And if it's quite all right, my pretty baby. Hold you tight, my pretty baby. Let's see. And I'm getting the remainder of the 2020 pilots. Because I'm trying to remember. I'm already blanking on okay. I think we got Working Man again with Jason Statham. Excuse me. Oh, God. Jason Statham. I'm down for that, 100%. I actually really, really like The Beekeeper, so yeah. Let's see here. I don't believe we got Love Hurts again. We did not get Captain America. Oh, no, yeah, we did get Captain America. I'm looking forward to Captain America, man. We need Marvel to get on a consistent roll again. We had a fantastic one with Deadpool, Wolverine. Agatha, I thought, was pretty good. What If? I don't count What If. What If it's its own thing? Yeah. Otherwise, we need to keep the trend going. We need to keep the momentum going. Now, if Captain America can be great, and then Daredevil looks as good as it looks. Okay, I can then be Kirk, and then Thunder. Let's get the Thunderbolts, and then I can say with certainty that Marvel's back, like truly back. But let's get the Thunderbolts before we do that. Otherwise, let me see here. We didn't get the Woman in the Yard this time around. What was it? Drop, got that one. No, didn't get the Sinners. Didn't get Counting to a Clone. Didn't get a lot of these, honestly. That one about the soldiers. I don't remember its name though, but we did get that one as well. Excuse me. Oh God, got a little something there. Got that post-nasal drip going. Otherwise, yeah, nothing else that's coming out later this year we've really gotten a trailer for. And I know we must have gotten something else that I'm forgetting right now. I'm double checking right now. It might have been a like smaller release. Maybe that's what it is. Not finding. What? The Killer's Game. We already. What? What are you talking about? Killer's Game. That was a movie last year. Yeah, seriously. Why are they're saying the Killer's Game, which released last year and made it to my worst list, is releasing this year? I don't know. Otherwise, I can't find any other film that would have been that like stands out in my head. So yeah. Still, I had a good time. It's not a great movie, but if you want to sit through a fun bad movie, I think that's the best way to put it. It's a fun bad movie, and not even a god awful movie. I don't think, just not the best, but fun enough. Anyway, though, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Put in the comments below. Let me know. Till then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys